What if I told you the next 7 days could set you up for life? Not in some hyped up, unrealistic meme coin way, but based on strategic moves from the world's most powerful institutions and individuals, all converging on one asset, Bitcoin. Right now, behind closed doors, sovereign wealth funds are debating 2 to 5% Bitcoin allocations, and the US government may be preparing a strategic Bitcoin reserve. And legacy financial titans, many of whom previously mocked crypto, are suddenly loading up with hundreds of millions, some even billions. So what's really happening behind the scenes, and how do you actually capitalize on it? Let's break it all down. The sentiment in crypto right now feels cold, it's quiet, and it's bearish. But history shows that this is exactly when millionaires are made. Some analysts agree that we're in the bottoming zone, but not everyone thinks we've hit rock bottom yet. Almost no serious players believe we're heading towards zero. In fact, some argue the bottom is already behind us. So we're not just talking about speculative pumps, we're talking structural shifts in capital allocations. For the first time in crypto's short history, the United States government might actually be preparing to fully embrace crypto. And I'm quoting, "We're going to do something great with crypto, we don't want China leading." This quote is strategic. The new SEC chair pushing for clear digital assets regulation. Treasury Secretary openly bullish on Bitcoin. This is policy direction. And Michael Saylor, who's closer to these political figures, believes the US could demonetize gold and buy 20 to 25% of the Bitcoin network. And if we think about what that could mean, selling US held gold and reallocating into Bitcoin would devalue enemy held reserves while enriching Americans and its allies. This is basically strategic warfare through financial assets. But could it actually happen? I think that depends on whether the US wants to lead the digital economy or watch someone else do it, or if it happens at all. So let's talk about a thesis. Bitcoin's value proposition has always been simple, digital gold, but now it's being treated as more than that, a potential strategic reserve. Bitcoin is the only commodity that becomes harder to produce over time. That makes it fundamentally different from oil, gold, or silver, which becomes easier to extract as tech improves. Even the founder of Chainlink recently said this idea of Bitcoin as a national reserve is no longer fringe, and it's definitely mainstream within crypto's upper circles. And of course we know it's already happening with nations like El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. And I think there are other countries that want to do this as well, they just need a little bit more time. So where could Bitcoin actually go next? I think Bitcoin hits at least 150,000 before 2025 is over, unless we have some major issues in the world, war or similar. There are some very long projections putting Bitcoin at between 1 million and 13 million per Bitcoin, but I think it's important to not really look too much on this. Yes, it's very exciting to think that I hold Bitcoin for 10 years and I make this amount of money, but we don't actually know how it will play out, and predicting far into the future, it gets harder and harder exponentially the further into the future you go. For example, what if we get a big AI breakthrough and it changes the entire financial model of society? That might just make Bitcoin irrelevant, so we need to keep that in mind. And that is simply why I use the trend trading tactics that I talk about in other videos in order to not get left holding the bag and becoming exit liquidity. But it's safe to say, even without the ultra bullish case, the current setup is looking very good. Governments buying, institutional reallocation, macro bottoming, scarcity increasing, and yet retail remains asleep. And that is basically gonna be your own personal edge. You are here during the tough times, so you are ready for when it changes. I'm sitting here ready to allocate more capital the second we get a solid uptrend. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.